Tell me what they're doing. Hey folks, Eric from Another Voice with Eric and Friends, and I'm here today to talk to you about a new project that I've started that's going to help us all, and I'm going to need your help on. It's called hashtag Tell Me What They're Doing. On our show, Another Voice with Eric and Friends, we talk a lot about how the people are the real power and that the people we elect are there to represent us, and they're supposed to do what we want them to do. Now just one quick caveat. None of us will ever get our elected officials to do everything we want them to do because we live in a society that has a wide variety of opinions, political philosophy, ideas of how we should handle things. So no one's ever going to get everything they want. But overall, we're looking for our elected officials to do what we want them to do. And as we've said on the show multiple times, one of the reasons our elected officials don't do what we want them to do is we don't tell them what to do. But over the last election season, there's a couple things that kind of crystallized for me and led me to this project. And one of those is one of the reasons that we don't tell our elected officials what we want them to do is we don't have a clue what they're doing. I mean, in this way, we aren't aware most of the time of the ideas that they're trying to work on, the legislation that they're proposing. Most of the time, we don't even know about legislation until after it's passed, and sometimes we don't even know it then. Sometimes we hear about it, like for example, a local ordinance on the third and final reading, we might hear about it. Occasionally we hear about it a little sooner, but most of the time we don't know about it. And if we don't know what they're considering, obviously we can't tell them what to do. Well, this new project, hashtag Tell Me What They're Doing, is designed to address that. Another thing that was crystallized for me, we hear from one side or the other things like, well, the Republicans hate women because they all voted against this particular piece of legislation that would have helped women, or the president hates the military because he vetoed a bill that would have helped the military. The partisans, of course, take their sides, but the rest of us, we see, oh, well, that doesn't look good. That's bad. Maybe they do hate women. Maybe he does hate the military. What we don't pay attention to is what's actually in the bill. And often, the reason that people have voted against or the president has vetoed something is because of what else is in the bill. And we don't realize that. Well, that's another area that hashtag Tell Me What They're Doing wants to address. And then finally, and this was very clear through getting ready for the elections, when we go to elect someone, we have an incumbent. We want to know what they've done. And so we can look back, and there are groups that try to go back in their term, the last term that they served, to find what they've voted on, how they voted. And sometimes it's successful, but for the most part, it's often incomplete. We don't have all the facts of what they've done. And this is the third area that hashtag Tell Me What They're Doing is going to help with. So what is hashtag Tell Me What They're Doing? For lack of a better term, it's a task force of citizens who are committed to getting the information out as to what our elected officials are actually doing while they're in Columbia, city of Greenville, Washington. What I'm trying to do here is to get together average folks who will commit to following one elected official or one body, say City of Greenville Council or your state representative. I have a friend who said, you know, I would be willing to follow Representative Gary Smith of Simpsonville. I live in Simpsonville. He's my representative. So what we're looking is to take individuals who will take some time, and because there's only one elected official, if you had to do all of them, you would just not have time. I mean, I try to research for this show and don't always have time to get everything done that I want. So we're taking individuals to take one individual or one small body of government, county council, city council, and we're going to start in the Greenville area, what we can vote on in the Greenville area, and we're asking you to research. And research, that sounds like a heavy term. Pay attention. You can follow the elected official on Facebook. You can subscribe to the legislative feed from Columbia. There's also things from Washington. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be seeing what the legislator or what the governor proposed, what the president proposed, what actions they're taking. For legislators and council members, what bills they're sponsoring or co-sponsoring, how they voted. They voted yes, they voted no, and why. They didn't vote at all. And then some information. Now, my daughter and I are going to be working on an actual form that will make it so simple that you could just, it'll have, what you fill in whatever the official is, and you will put down, it'll have legislation proposed, co-sponsored, it'll have all that stuff. So it'll be really simple for you to do. And then you'll turn it back into hashtag tell me what they're doing. And then we, every month, will put out a summary. We'll show everything that they're doing. And in that way, this task force will be able to provide for everybody who wants to take a minute to go online at one source to be able to find out what's going on in Washington, in Columbia, in the halls of City of Greenville, and County Council. And be able to say, this is what I want you to do. Let me just give you a quick example. In Spartanburg, the Spartanburg delegation just voted to push legislation when they get back, probably pre-file it in December and have it worked on in January. But legislation that would force the legislature to follow the law. By law, the legislature is supposed to fund counties and cities for the work that the counties and cities do in providing facilities for state agencies. For example, the DSS office in Greenville or the DHAC office. The counties provide them, and the state's supposed to pay a specific amount from the general fund. Well, in 2008, when the recession hit, the legislature put a proviso in that they didn't give all the money or any of the money, and they've been doing that ever since. So what the Spartanburg delegation has voted on is to introduce legislation to make them do that. And here, you and I know that now before it actually even gets into committee. And we can take, for example, I could contact my state senator, Mike Fair, and say, Senator Fair, this is what's going to be proposed. I want you to join them and help pass this legislation. Or if it was something you disagreed with, hey, Mike, this is something I want you to fight. That's what hashtag tell me what they're doing is about. And it's going to be a simple thing for people to find out what's going on. And it's not going to require a lot of work from everybody. If we could just get a group of people to take one candidate, one official, spend a little bit of time and find them. There are tools that you can use, and we'll be glad to help provide you those tools that you can help follow them. And it's nothing you're going to have to spend lots of time on, but the results are going to be a way to better inform the public in how to govern themselves. We're also looking for some tech-savvy people, someone who will be able to help us make a website to make this all gel. So you can contact me at eric@canIGetAWordIn.com. You can go on our Facebook page, canIGetAWordIn.com, make a comment there, or at Facebook at Another Voice with Eric and Friends. But best of all, email me, eric@canIGetAWordIn.com, and say, look, I would be glad to follow Senator Graham, or I would be interested in doing the Simpsonville City Council. Whatever it is, let's work together to make a difference in our community and help us control our government. All right, folks, until we meet again, get out in your community and make a difference.